On air. Let's see, probably on air. Yes, no, yes, yes. Okay, think we're on air. Excellent. Good news, good news. Now I just have to do a couple of things. Switch that off, get our chat window popped out so I can see who joins the live chat. No one yet, so you know, if you're watching this back later, it's just you and me having special alone time. Just you and me, where you know we share private things that no one else need know about, because you know sometimes that's nice to do. And I just got to get across. And hello, Patman Sport. How are you? Cheers. Well, yeah, that's not bad. Yes, okay. I don't know where everyone else is, but I'm in Melbourne, where for a couple of days they've been predicting big storms, get a month's worth of rain in 1 or 2 days. And today was a great big old non-event, and they're saying tomorrow will be worse. We'll see what happens. Angry Householders, all good. Thanks, Pat Man. Glad to see you and glad you're doing well. And hey, Toby, on the Australian Crime Video Archives channel. I'm trying to think. My nose is blocked up. I should have got a tissue before I started. I don't know if it's the onset of winter. Like, I don't have a cold or anything yet, but you know, it's like, hey, no, my nose is broken. Cold in now. I know the country areas of Victoria are getting it particularly cold. We had today, I mean, it wasn't freezing, but it was a low and a low high. Apparently, it was the coldest day for this early in the season for quite some time, like decades. But then again, we'd been getting whole weeks that were warmer than normal. So, you know, Melbourne weather. If you don't like it, wait 5 minutes and it'll turn. Prayers for my nose, Toby. I really should do. I'll survive. I keep thinking I should just run out and get a tissue. But I think I'll survive. So we'll soldier on and soldier on into tonight. So it is actually raining now. It just started raining. Very light. I was looking at the weather predictions, and they're still predicting that it will rain all night and all tomorrow. The most extreme is meant to be overnight and in the early morning. But that remains to be seen. I mean, the good news is if it's really, really heavily raining, I'll work from home. Like if, you know, storms making the roads unsafe, I'll work from home. And hello, Charlie, how are you doing? Patman Sport, very shrewd of you. Yes, the cold is not good for AIDSy. I didn't talk to him today, but I would imagine AIDSy had a really miserable day today. Maybe he stayed inside with a heater on. Mofo sign, hey, how's it going? I did talk to him recently. He's not doing well. His health is bad. He's been in and out of hospital. They threw him out of hospital, but he was doing what they call hospital at home, which he really hates because that means he's really not allowed to leave his home. And medical people come and see him on a regular basis, but it really limits his freedom. Like it's all the shitty side of hospital and none of the good side. And hello, Locust Trooper. My first time, the budget calculator. Why are they emphasis on taxes? That's all the libs have. They just go, we've got a choice. Should we have vision for the future? Should we support the most Australians we can? Or we would just go for the buzzword tax cuts. Yeah, let's do that. And they're focusing on tax cuts because they've got no fucking imagination and they've got no. Luke, what's the good side of hospital? People spoiling you, like looking after you, waiting on you hand and foot, and giving you the good drugs for free. See, once you're out of hospital, the drugs don't come for free anymore. And they say, well, you should take all these drugs. And while they are heavily subsidised in Australia, when you're a poor little sod like AZ, it's still a bit tough. Ooh, Mimsy wants to come in. Excellent. We'll see if she comes up on her. No, she's going to hide in a box. She's being weird. Locust Trooper, not that bad of a budget. Well, it's a real non-event of a budget. Like, it didn't help anyone who really needed it, and it didn't do anything particularly visionary. And the weirdest thing, like, it reinforces the lie, the stereotype that the Tories are the good money managers, and the Labor, they just spend it all, and they're writing off the tax base by giving big companies and super rich people huge tax breaks and having some dumb expenditure. It makes it easy for Labor to look good comparison. They should stop making it so easy for Labor. Labor should have to work harder. Oh, mofo sign. Dental health being more in the public health system. Ask Aidsy about that, because he had the thing where one of the various offshoots of his severe health problems, he had like a semi-cancerous infection in his jaw that was killing all his teeth. So he had that year or so of really gross, like crackhead-looking teeth where they're all rotting away. And then they finally got taken out. Now he got his false teeth. Uh, Oh yeah, Batman Sport. You're absolutely right. That was the Libs' version of an election budget, but it was a really shitty attempt at an election budget. They what are you doing, Mimsy? You weirdo. Yeah, it was a really shitty attempt at things like they think people can't see through it. As we'll give the pause, which is to say the majority of the population. We'll give them a $10 a week tax cut. That'll win the pause over, won't it? They'll gloss over the fact that we're still not making these companies pay tax, and we're giving a tax cut 30 times bigger to rich people. The pause will be bought off with $10 a week. One, I mean, I've heard tell that like three of them could get together and purchase 30 cans of beer with $30. That's all the poor do, isn't it? Drink beer, he said, and then had a drink straight after. Oh, it's not beer though. You going to go up on your perch, Mimsy, or are you going to sit on a... No, she's going to sit on a bag. It's going to be weird. Yes, Mofo, the tooth cancer, well, it was jaw cancer rather than tooth. But he got off light. They were able to get it out. Like, when they detected this thing that was eating away at his jaw and poisoning his teeth, they had to do exploratory surgery to cut it all out. I go, okay, at the lower end of the spectrum, we might just have to cut away a part of your jaw and then all might be well, which was actually what ended up happening. They go at the extreme end of the spectrum, we'll cut away a whole... The worst thing that could have happened to Aidsy is he could have lost his entire lower jaw. Like that happened to that film reviewer, Roger Ebert, because of cancer. He had his entire jaw removed. Still lived for a couple of years after that. It's literally impossible to talk without a lower jaw. You can make noises, but you can't actually talk because you don't have the control. So it would be tough for AZ. All right, Charlie, if you're a low-income healthcare card, technically you get free dental, but it just, you have to wait a year or more for any treatment. Locust Trooper, big question. Why has AIDS got so many health problems? He didn't look after himself when he was younger. Well, no, he didn't look after himself when he was younger. Actually, he kind of did. He was super fit when he was younger. He did a lot of circus acrobatics and he did a lot of lifting people. He was like super strong and stocky. No, he was unfortunate enough to get rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease, which damaged basically all the joints in his body. And the primary treatment he was given, which is kind of a really shitty treatment, was chemotherapy to kill the overactive elements of his body that were causing the rheumatoid arthritis. And of course, chemotherapy makes you really sick. It hopefully kills the thing that you want killed, but in the meantime, you'll be really sick. And because rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and he had this really debilitating chemo, basically his immune system is fucked. And the chemo did a lot of damage to his body, as well as eventually making the rheumatoid arthritis recede, but it did permanent damage. So AIDS is basically in permanent pain in every joint in his body every day. And his other lark is, when did he get rheumatoid arthritis? When he was about 30, in his prime, as it were. And he was, while, you know, cured, he was very weakened. And then just when he was getting his life in order, which was about 10 years ago, he contracted a flesh-eating bacteria, necrotizing fasciitis. And I was going to say it almost killed him. Technically did kill him twice, but he came back both times. So, Japper, you've joined the Liberal Party. Here to tell us that social justice warriors need to understand how to understand economy and science. Yes. Trickle down economics, Jordan Peterson, kill the weak, feed the poor. Yeah. That, I'm pretty sure that's like official Liberal Party platform these days. Wouldn't even pick on the Republicans. Trump's not that creative. You know, Trump's just do whatever outlandish shit comes into his head. Mofo Chapman's just taking the piss with that. I don't have a lot of time for Jordan Peterson. Hi, Tara. And hi, Mike. Everyone, you know, the right wingers always ask me about Jordan Peterson. And seriously, Jordan Peterson is a man of straw as far as I can tell. There's nothing behind him. He just, like, okay, you're saying the most flattering thing about him you could, that he's about being not too politically correct and so forth. He's also about saying really fatuous things and dressing them up as deep thinking. Like, he goes on about men and women are just different, therefore there'll always be inequality. It's just like, well, that's not, you criticize other people for acting on their feelings, but that isn't a fact. That's an opinion, and it's opinion that is not very well supported by evidence at all. Like, all of Jordan Peterson's philosophy is about a centimeter deep. It's dressed up as if it's like, oh, this is some pretty damn serious thinking going on here. It's like, no, it's not. It's just like saying, he's just saying these reactionary talking points and stating them like they're self-evident truths, and they're not. They're political opinions. And he's doing exactly what he accuses other people of doing. It's like, you know, he could have his day, he could say whatever he wants, but It's just so shallow. Everything he says is so shallow, and he gets super like, I mean, I like, a lot of people probably saw the interviewer. I think it was a female BBC interviewer had him, um, and she made herself look really bad because she just kept cutting him off and putting words into his mouth so he could take uh, the high moral ground, and that was a bad interview, and it made him look good. But I've seen other interviews with him. He is the classic person who oh, what's the best way to put it? It's like, give him enough rope and he'll hang himself. It's like, don't cut him off. Don't assert things at him. Don't put words into his mouth. Don't force conclusions on him. Just let him keep talking. Give him enough rope and he will absolutely hang himself because he's got no depth. Locust Trooper, Herring had a live stream about me. He didn't, did he? I mean, doesn't he have anything better to do with his time? Why would he do that? Oh my god. That was fun, man. If you had fun trolling him, good on you. If that's, look, if he's still obsessing over me, that's just hilarious. It's just I I just have trouble going like, why is the dude so obsessed by it? I've never made a video about him. I mean, he obviously uh, comes up in conversation here. He's always fucking ragging on me, but it's just, oh, how bizarre, how bizarre, how bizarre. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that guy. I don't know why. Yeah, these different people are obsessed about me. Yeah, David. What? I always wondered, if the government issues currency, why do we have debt? Well, if they just keep printing money, it undermines the economy. I mean, it's all fucking make believe anyway. It's all make believe. The economic system is just ridiculous. I don't know how else to put it. Um, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's, monetary policies are a bloody illusion. He's saying, Locust Trooper, he had to block about 20 accounts. Yeah, well, when he sicks his mob on me, I end up having to block a bunch of people because I shut up. Oh dear. Mofo, oh yeah, money's a game that turned into a religion. Yeah, the if you've never read the Discworld books by Terry Pratchett, they're really worth reading. They're a really good read. Like, when they first started, they were just like a piss take of like Dungeons and Dragons type fantasy, and they were very funny comedic versions of fantasy books. But he wrote heaps of them. And what they eventually became was like an allegory for our world. Like, what was happening in the Discworld story was an allegory for our world. Whether, in one he addressed racism, uh, uh, and there's sexism and war, and he did a couple that were directly basically explaining like how postal services got started and how money got started, how we moved away from gold, like things being of literal value, through to notes, promissory notes. And they're really entertaining. They're very funny, but they're also really close to factually accurate stories of how these things started. And it's a really fascinating read because it's a lot of fun, but it's also really quite accurate. Yeah, the economy is a modern version of human sacrifice. There's a South Park episode where the economist cut the head off chicken. Look, and that's as accurate as anything. David, good question. If the government taxes more than it spends, it's in surplus. Where's the difference come from? Yeah, see, it's a shell game. Government spending is a shell game because you look at, like, US debt is in the trillions, like absolutely weird, made up numbers, like stuff that can't possibly be serviced, and it just keeps going up and up. And what does it mean? And it's just because this government with a nudge and a wink says, no, we're good for it, mate. We should keep these things going back and forth, because if anyone ever finally admits it's just a shell game and none of this money has any intrinsic value, the whole thing comes crashing down, and we don't want that. As we get people who say we should return to the gold standard, and but in big international economies, tying your economy to something like the gold standard leaves you really exposed to severe inflationary pressures and a really severe boom bust cycles. In economies that were tied to like a gold standard, the poor would get fucked over even more than they do now, and that's saying something. Yo, Frank, how's it going, my man? Oh, hey, Frank, seeing you here. Are you still in the mood to animate things? Yeah, David, you're right. Money is the representation of value. Money is a representation of you did something, you performed a task, you created something, you provided a service that deserves reward that you can use, then buy goods and service from someone else. But it's an illusion that we all agree to play along with. It's a very complex illusion, but it's an illusion nevertheless. But we've yet to come up with something better for large scale. What do you call it? Large scale economies. Frank, you're going to start again when a strike expires. What's strike? I don't know. Oh, sorry. That would be a YouTube strike. As I say, no, I'm sorry, I've not had a chance to look through the website Future to Fight For. You're right, David, barter is messy. Look, things like barter and exchange of, precious elements, golds, metals, jewels, can work in small economies. They just can't work in big economies. And the ruling classes realize that they get more and more. The more the economy grows, the more they get. So they grew the economy, and it's propped up by this fictional monetary system, this illusory monetary system, and we're stuck with it. Lucas, would there ever be a century everyone's equal? Humans don't really go for complete equality. You get cycles of where the gap between the rich and the poor sort of, goes in and out. But there's always someone who goes, well, I'm going to take more, whether it's by force or whether by just convincing someone that I deserve it. So actual equality is never going to happen. But we sometimes get a bit closer to it. Mofo, you're right. In essence, money is like resource allocation. It's declaring a value, and it's completely arbitrary. Value is completely arbitrary. Why is one sort of work valued more than another? You know, why is a Wall Street banker worth a million times more than someone who cleans the toilets? We'd all be in terrible fucking trouble if no one was cleaning the toilets, but we'd be perfectly fucking fine if the Wall Street bankers didn't exist. So, no. Oh, Frank, the reason I was asking if you were still in the mood to do animation is because AZ's not well and can't really get out and about at the moment. But he did want to record some audio. And I was thinking about messing about with my editing software and putting some video together with his audio. But if you were still in a mood for animating, it might suit you. Archie Wilson, when I'll be making a full and frank apology to me? Tonight, right now. I clearly owe you a full and frank apology for pretty much everything. But, you know, if you can narrow it down for me, I will definitely offer a full and frank apology. Toby, what do I think about communism? Communism's a totalitarian system. So is capitalism, for that fucking matter. Archie, sometimes we have to apologize, even if we've done nothing wrong, just to keep the peace. David, do I think New Start should be increased? Yes, I think people should be able to fucking live. I think that some of the most hard up people in our society, we should stop treating them like they're evil. For fuck's sake, I mean, try and be positive people instead of assuming, oh, they're unemployed because they're lazy. Fucking, instead of forcing someone to work for the dole, maybe offer a lot of retraining options. Actually, offer people help rather than hitting them with a fucking stick. I mean, it's crazy talk, but that's what I think. Henry, how can Labor win the next election? By not fucking up. Oh, Archie, I'm glad you're back. You used to watch before. I mean, yeah. Look, I don't match the YouTube algorithm at all, and I'm really bad at self promotion. And I will also be honest, I should put more effort into my content as well. But I'm just like fucking around and having fun. So, Toby, why was Archie asking for an apology? Because I obviously did something terribly, terribly wrong. So if anyone else needs a full and frank apology from me, speak up now because, you know, I'm in the mood. Mofo, the Pirate Party suggests providing jobs using a citizen jury. I am deeply opposed to the work for the dole concept and the whole dole bludger thing, and treating someone who is unemployed as if they're intrinsically evil. It's like, you know, Karen, just stop fucking treating people like shit. It's like, okay, those people should be contributing to the society. Give them every opportunity. Give people retraining. Give them support. Let them keep a fucking sense of self-worth instead of crushing people. This idea of just crushing people who are already at a low point is fucking evil. Oh, Frank, if I have to apologize to you for farting last week, man, it wasn't just last week. It is every day. And that is something I should offer full and frank apologies to, for the amount of terrible farts I do. Oh, Mike, you're on Twitch. I keep meaning to try Twitch out, and I keep forgetting to. I must get around to it one point. Hey, Stella, how's it going? Are you streaming now? Yeah, Archie, I'm with you completely. You follow it for a passion or for fun. Oh, look, who's coming to join us. Look, she's coming. She did finally come and join. I got to move over here now. Yes, it's now the Mimsy show. She's far more interesting than me. We're wondering when you were going to join us. Yes, yes. Oh, lunch over. Have a good day, Frank. Henry Dar, I think the privatization of the utilities and resource sector is fucking ridiculous. It's just cost consumers more. It's taken money out of our economy. It's been siphoned off by overseas companies. It's just fucking ridiculous. David, you're right. This conservative mentality, and I don't mean as in people who are politically conservative always treat people badly. No, I mean the dominant conservative political parties around the world um, seem determined to treat people like shit. Like, oh, they're scam. They're definitely not listening. No, fucking give people a break. Give people encouragement. For fuck's sake. Yeah, actually, it wasn't. Obviously, it wasn't just Thatcher. All the fucking state and federal governments here in Australia sold off, and it's just like, our energy prices fucking tripled. It's like, for fuck's sake. And yeah, look, if the whole things were government owned, yes, there would be waste. Yes, would be lazy people with cushy jobs. But broadly, it would be fucking better for the economy. Oh, Toby, tell Celtic King we're all on his side, man. Trying to stay off the alcohol, trying to, detox. Just tell him we're all on his side and he's doing the right thing. And, we're all hoping that he comes through. Still, that's actually a good point. If they just had enough people to answer the Centrelink phones, then half the unemployed would have jobs. Absolutely right. I mean, seriously, that would work. Oh, Archie, you're right about the capital sector hiding the waste. The fact that, because I'm a contractor, and so I work in all sorts of things. I work government, banks, small sort of IT consultancies, university, like work for defense. And I swear, like last time I worked for a bank, because I've worked for banks on and off for the last, 2 decades. And I reckon in the last 20 years, I've spent 5 years working in banks. And last time I worked in a bank, like I'd been away from the banks for a couple of years, and I went in, and like before the end of the first week, I'm looking around at how things are running or not running, and I was like, oh, that's right. Oh my God, these guys just piss money down the toilet. It's like there is so much waste in the banking sector. I'm just adjusting so we can still see Mimsy. She's gone down to another perch. Oh, Archie, yeah, no, for the first year and a half on YouTube, I did wear a mask, which was, no, I've been doing the same job. My day job is still the same thing. I'm an IT contractor. I run my own business. But yeah, I just got sick. I decided I don't care. Who knows what I do after I got used to doing it. Yeah, you're right, David. The unemployment rate's never going to be zero, so why punish the unemployed? Um, but you see it, like the Liberals here straight up say they need to punish people on the dole. They need for it to not be livable. They need for people to be miserable because then they'll get a job. If we made them comfortable, they wouldn't get a job. Most people, given the opportunity, would get a job. So Um, fuck 'em. Dyslexic. Nice. Mofo, that's an interesting way of putting it. Uh, a good government could be similar to a good parent. Look, I am idealistic enough to believe a government's job is to serve people, not to control people, not to punish people, although there's obviously some controls needed, and there's obviously some people who need punishment. But in my mind, government's main job is to serve people. Archie, how did I get into contracting? Well, I'm a business analyst, and years ago, so long ago, uh, I wasn't in IT. I wasn't a business analyst. I was working in a call center. Uh, I was a team leader. Oh, you got to go out, Toby. Catch you later, buddy. Um, so yeah, so I was a team leader in this call center for an insurance company, taking inbound calls. And yeah, one day the manager just said to me, "Oh, hey," because we use like three different systems to run the call center, and he just said, "Hey, we need a new business analyst, and you seem to be the only one who ever puts any thought into the systems and how we can improve them. Do you want to be a business analyst?" So I learned how to be a business analyst. And that's what I've missed. Oh, what's that? It's a bug. Mimsy saw, I think it's, God, I think it's a cockroach. Gross. Mimsy's now chasing a bug. It's gone, Mimsy. I don't know where it went. Um, so, yeah, that's how I got into IT. And I was working full time for a while. And then actually, someone changed in management, and I really didn't like the uh, new manager. And in fact, I thought I was going to punch him in the head. And I was really annoyed. And I just looked in the paper, and contracting was just taking off. And I realized I could make heaps more money as a contractor. And I've just been a contractor mostly for the last 2 decades. Cliff Jumper, hey, how you going? Sorry, I was just in the middle of the story. I'll finish the story and say hello now. Oh, Stex, you got to go back to Mike. You don't want Google Home calling you that. Well, musical aviator, the root of analyst is anal. Like that's the Freudian thing about when uh, Freud talked about people being anal obsessive or anal retentive. Um, that's being very detail focused and obsessive. And yeah, that's what analysts do. Oh, there you go, Tara. You have your own contracting business as well. Yes. Yeah, Henry, you're right. When you're a kid, you get taught to share all the time. There's equality, which is basically socialism. And then as an adult, it's like, no, fuck everyone. It's everyone for themselves. Blah. If you're seeing a machine learning program. I mean, like, wasn't that Google put that thing out this week where they had an AI that would make phone calls for you if you don't want to make phone calls, which was a bit creepy, really. Ah, Cliff Jumper, you just woke up tired and exhausted like a. What do I analyze? Generally, there's a lot of variation in what I do, but generally, uh, see, when a business wants something to happen with an IT project, there's normally communication issues because often people on the business side don't understand the technology that well. And often the people on the technology side don't understand humans very well. And so there has to be someone in the middle who's like the translator, and that's me. So I normally initially work with the business side who either want like a system upgrade or something new, and I work with them and say, okay, what is it you want? And they talk about, oh, we want to be able to do this, 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 and this. And then generally speaking, I write that up in like a concise, logical way that's still readable to normal humans, but it's logical and structured, so the IT people can look at it and say, I see what you're asking me to do. You've structured that in a way that I see how all the logic pieces fit together. So as a business analyst in IT, half the time I'm a translator, basically. Joel, I'm drinking. Humans die if they don't consume liquid. So I'm just staving off death by consuming some liquid. Where did Nancy go? Chasing a bug and now she's disappeared. If you're saying Google duplex, oh, the voice. Actually, are you saying that? And the oh my god! See, because I just sort of skimmed some articles. I didn't watch the video. Saying the Google Voice AI actually does ums and ahs to sound more realistic. Oh my god! Oh yeah, Henry, you're right. That man, for a normal taxpayer to be told a $10 a week tax break is something to be happy about is fucking bullshit. Yeah, David, that's a good summary. I translate idiot into geek. That's basically it. Cliff Jumper, you guys sound like the guy who got hit by a car in the movie Office Space. I'm a people person. I kind of am. I mean, my big thing is communication because, oh, actually, thanks heaps for dropping by, man. Um, I hope to see you around again. I tend to do these live streams once or twice a week, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and one or two pre-recorded videos a week as well. You know, drop on by, buddy. Good to see you. Um, yeah, man, I'm living the Office Space thing basically. Uh, at least I've never been anywhere close bad. Like, I think, oh, thanks, cool, resub, buddy. Thanks. Tell your friends. I think most people have probably seen the IT Crowd, which I think is a really funny show. At least I've never worked in a place that treated the IT people that badly, like literally locking them in the cellar, keeping them away from everyone. I've never been in an environment that was quite that bad. Um, I have been in some fairly adversarial situations, and that's also the other thing. Um, I'm often the peacemaker if there's an adversarial relationship between the business and the technology, which is reasonably common. I'm often the peacemaker. Like, I have to be in the middle and say, okay, let's sort of sort this out, shall we? We're saying university treats grunts badly. I did do a year working in university, and honestly, some of those people fucking deserve to be treated badly. But no, I am always bothered by people who treat their people badly. Henry, you got to go, man. Early start. Okay. Take care, buddy. Uh, yeah, no, Jack, no, I'm sounding a bit bitter when I say that because there was this creepy motherfucker who hired attractive young girls and seriously invited them over to his place for pool parties. And some of them went there. And I got on their wrong side. And so my life was made a bit unhappy. This is years ago. Sally, you worked for an IBM help desk, and it was you were the IT crowd locked in the basement. So you quit IT. Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. Yeah, no, that would do. Uh, my ex worked help desk for Big Pond Internet in the early days of the internet, like the 90s when it was dial up. And some of the stories were fascinating. I mean, because if you work help desk, you always get people saying super dumb shit and you can make jokes about it. Like we had a joke. You normally people come up with a name for really clueless technology, like people who are absolutely clueless about technology. And the one we had was the right clickers because she had one caller one day who was asking for help with something, and she's stepping him through and saying, okay, now do that, now do that. Now tell me this, like, okay, so put your mouse on that link and right click and tell me what it says. And person says, oh, it did that. And from what they said, this person obviously clicked on the link and said, oh, did that? Go, oh, no. Did you right click? And the person really indignantly said, I know how to click right. And she goes, no, I don't mean like correct. I mean, did you click on the right mouse button? And he, of course I use the right mouse button. I know how to click right. And really slowly and patiently go, no, there are two mouse buttons. One is on the left, one is on the right. I need you to click the button on the right. And so with people who were really clueless about technology, we called them right clickers. But probably my all-time favorite story was quite an older gentleman who called up the help desk saying, look, I want to get on the internet to find out what it's all about. My kids convinced me, so I went out and bought a computer, my first computer, and I got the modem and I paid for this connection, and I can't get it to work. Okay, this is cool, because this was in the 90s, where a shitty computer cost like $2,000, like a pre-Pentium computer cost $2,000. So it was really, really a big commitment on his part. This guy who knew nothing about technology lashed out on a computer and an internet subscription and a modem, and he's here and he's going, and I can't get it to work. So she's going, okay, this guy seems very interesting. I'm going to step him through, and so she stepped through, said, okay, install this, and he's doing everything right. And but he's going, but there's still no internet. And she's like, I can't understand it. It seems like you did everything right. You should be on the internet now. And she asked him to describe what he was seeing on the computer screen. And what he was seeing was the Big Pond homepage. And she went, that's it. You did it. You're on the internet. And he was like, doesn't it do anything? And I thought, this was amazing. This guy had spent thousands of dollars with no expectation of what he was getting. He did not know what he was getting. It's one thing to just spend thousands of dollars to get what you expected to get, but he lashed out all this money and he literally had no expectation of what he was going to get. Like he thought some magic happened. But it's like, no, dude, it's the internet. It's actually a lot more boring than you think. But yeah. Yeah, David, my first $2,000 computer was an SX33, I think. So it was way less than a 200 megahertz. It was a 33 megahertz processor, but I upgraded it to a DX66, and that was the last pre-Pentium processor. So we all say hello to Jahatna's sister in Shanghai. Cliff Jumper, the AOL generation, people who started the internet in the 90s. AOL lasted a ridiculous amount of time. And let's be honest, AOL was internet for stupid people. And it lasted an incredibly long time, considering how pointless it was. Hey there, Proper Wolfie, how you doing? You want Hacker Vision? Like 90s hacker movies were pretty good. Oh yeah, Stella, I kept a book, the old phone book type directories for the internet. I kept one called, it was the Whole Earth Internet Guide. And it was this sort of hippie-ish internet guide. Fucking great. I kept it because it's a bit of history. She says Shanghai. How badly did I say that? Shanghai. What are we saying with Shanghai? Oh yeah, proper Wolfie. AOL was fucking terrible. And hey, Shellformer, how you doing? Yes, Yahoo, Alta Vista. Um, remember pre-Google, things like Alta Vista were proud of the fact Shanghai. Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh, don't say Shanghai, it's Shanghai. Yes. Okay, gotcha. Yes. Sorry, I'm slow tonight. Um, yeah, I remember when shitty sites like Alta Vista boasted how great it was. They returned millions of results. And then Google invented proper search and said, it's not the number of results that's important, it's the usefulness of the results. ICQ, oh, David, I was on ICQ so much. Yeah, my nose is a bit blocked, Shellformer. Oh, Charlie, I never actually, sorry, RC, I never actually had a Commodore 64. I played on Commodore 64s, but I never had one. I just had a generic IBM PC. Oh, yes, Charlie, Ask Jeeves was another attempt in the search market. I think the spin off company Ask.com still exists. I think. Have a look. We're on the internet. We can check. Ask.com. Yeah, Ask still exists. What the fuck? Who uses it? Why? Why does it still exist? Why does it still exist? I don't know, but it does. Um, yes, Ask still exists. I know a lot of people are using some of the sort of amalgamating search engines like DuckDuckGo or oh, what's the learning one? Wolfram Alpha. Oh, my first time, the ICQ sound. Yeah, I'd recognize it if I heard it again. I see. I worked. I played on a TRS-80, the Radio Shack computer that used a tape to load stuff. Oh yes, yes. Back in the days when it was appropriate, you said ASL in a chat room. You said ASL. You're asking people their age, sex, and location to see if you could hit on them. Oh, okay. I've mentioned this before, but we're talking about relationships on ICQ. I met the mother of my children on ICQ. Was it ICQ? It was one of the chat things. No, it wasn't ICQ. Um, oh God, what was the what was the other chat network where it was all channels? My brain, I'm trying to remember. Someone will remember it for me. Um, God, it wasn't ICQ though. No, it wasn't MSN. It's God damn it. What was it? We used to go and the channel names all IRC. Yes. Yes. Music over air and Targo. IRC, Internet Relay Chat. That's where I met the mother of my children. And it is distinctly possible that my firstborn is the first internet baby, as in the first baby from a couple who met via the internet, who would not have met without the internet. She was living in Melbourne and I was living in Sydney at the time. And she's 20 now. So that was, I mean, you know, we could do a global search to see if someone has an older child who's an internet baby. And it's cheating if you went like someone from back in the university days when it was limited to you know, universities and whatnot, because you know they would have interacted anyway. I mean, the public internet. It is seriously, distinctly possible. My daughter is the first internet baby. You want to do an arranged marriage? They still happen, you know. Yeah. Oh, David with the too much information. You got into group sex via Facebook. Mofo, what do I think about Tinder? I'm super glad I'm not dating and haven't been for a long time. My relationship is a teenager, and I've not had to use Tinder. I think Tinder sounds horrific, and I'm so glad I don't have to date. That modern dating sounds absolutely fucking horrific. Probably you had to get breakfast. You're just replying to the. You're okay. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Cliff Jumper used to use short audio chat after twisting. My last really serious chat thing was about 15 years ago, and it was MSN chat before MSN killed it. It used to be great. I used to have heaps of fun. And I remember there was because I would be on MSN chat basically every evening. Um, Obviously, I was single, and there was a set time, and it was to do with time differences, but it was about. If I remember rightly, it was about 7 p.m. every night. Suddenly, the chat rooms in MSN chat would be full of girls from Asian countries trying to get husbands. And yeah, sometimes they'd be in the Philippines, sometimes in Malaysia, Indonesia, sometimes China. Um, and I used to, think it was funny and you'd have fun and chat. And after a while, you got used to it. And of these girls, they basically fell into three categories. One was outright scammers, like they were trying to hook. They were actually working as a business. And I know, I saw the pictures. There would be whole internet cafes, like in the Philippines, of these girls, and they're all getting cut. And basically, they'd chat up guys and try to suggest that action could happen with these guys. And when they felt like they had the guys hooked, they would say, "Oh, but I can't come on to chat anymore because I don't have enough money for the internet cafe." And so desperate, horny dudes would send them money. And there was a whole business that went around that. So there were the outright scammers, uh, and then there were the girls who actually did want you to go visit them. They wanted you to buy them things and stuff. But that wasn't a scam as such, and that they did actually want guys to visit them and buy them stuff and whatnot. The third one were the ones who were literally looking for husbands. Um, so it was kind of fun working out which category they fell into. The outright scammers, um, the ones who did want you to go over there the money, but they would be there, whereas the scammers would never be there. And then the ones who were looking for husbands. Could pass hours with that stuff. That was heaps of fun. By the way, I don't even mean to sound judgmental at the moment. Not even the scammers, for that matter. I mean, they're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to make a few bucks. I just thought it was funny. Mofo. Oh my God, machine learning. We are obviously going to get mind-blowingly tripped out porn coming out of, like, we already know the deep fake stuff, uh, stuff where they can superimpose someone's face onto a video and it looks reasonably convincing that that's a celebrity doing porn. But now you've got these things doing voices as well, and with some machine learning to make stuff look more and more believable. We're clearly about to get super weird porn. Uh, because the porn so far hasn't been weird enough. Yeah, Jahammer, if I was in a third world country and could get an internet connection, I'd scam rich Westerners. I'm not joking. I did not hold it against them at all. But yeah, I just found the whole thing really quite interesting. Oh, it's time, 9 o'clock. It's almost the weekend, and if it rains really heavily tonight, I can, like, if we get the storm that they're talking about, I can work from home tomorrow. But if the storm doesn't come through, then I guess I have to go to work. But that's why I don't want to get rid. I can have a drink though. Oh my gosh, yeah, $1,000 to someone in Afghanistan or somewhere in Asia. It's an enormous amount. Oh, this jumper, that's the downside of it. And I saw that so many times. You're in an online community, couple meet in the online community, and they have a bad breakup. And it all fucking goes to shit. Goes to super shit in the community. I've seen that several times. Oh my God. Shelf warmer, you want the Stormy Daniels Trump tape to get leaked. And apply a face swap. I mean, no. It's kind of like Trump's awful. It's like that weird story that broke DJ Khaled in an interview saying like he won't go down on his wife, but expects his wife to go down on him because he's the king and the rules are different for men and women. It's like, oh, I did not actually want to think about DJ Khaled's sex life. Honestly, I didn't. But yeah, it's like thinking of Trump and the various porn stars and women he's paid to have sex, because there's multiple ones. Yeah, it's not visually appealing. I mean, but then again, I could tell people about. I could upset people with my sex life as well. Old people sex. Ooh, yes, no. All right, I need to get some ice as a starter. Ah. Now, okay, I know what I'm going to do, actually. All right, so, and this. Right, what am I doing? And this. Okay. Who's a Stanley Kubrick fan? I'm going to call this one Red Rum. Red Rum. That's rum mixed with some red rock candy that's chili flavored. So this is basically chili rum. I'm gonna have some of that, but I'm gonna have a tall glass. So okay. So some lemonade, red rum. A little bit of red rum. And where's my stopper? Here. And I'm going to put some of this tropical juice drink here. Oh, Stella, we found out The Rock does pride himself in going down. Yes, a girl can dream. I mean, yeah, The Rock, there's a man, He's funny, he's huge and buff, and he's sensitive. That's a role model. Anyway, I'm okay. If someone said The Rock was their role model, I'd be okay with that. There's far worse role models than him. Proper Wolfie, who isn't a Kubrick fan? I don't know, people haven't seen the movies probably. Yeah, you still haven't seen 2001. 2001's good. What's another one he's famous for? The Shining? Man, the opening shots of The Shining, which is, it doesn't sound that amazing. It's an aerial shot of a car driving on mountain roads. It's fucking hypnotic. It's absolutely amazing. Like, it is just an amazing shot. Like, it doesn't sound that compelling. It's just like a helicopter shot following a car on this windy mountain road. But it's absolutely compelling. It's amazing. Charlie, you like Smash Mouth more after their pro cunnilingus posts. Yeah, maybe that's what, you're right, maybe that's what Smash Mouth means. Yeah, the Kubrick is very good at constructing films. You're right, Proper Wolfie. The music and oh god, what are you doing, Mimsy's just getting into stuff over here. The music and everything really is a completely. I tell you, you don't have to be a Kubrick fan. With artistic expression and entertainment, it's a purely personal thing. Um, but I'm intrigued. Like you say, you're not a Kubrick fan. Does that just mean you just haven't watched his stuff, or you've watched some and you weren't into it? So yeah, yeah. Jackie, you're right. I think The Shining is a great film. The interesting thing is how far it diverged from the Stephen King book, and Stephen King doesn't really like Kubrick's version of The Shining. But yeah, Kubrick just went in a different direction with it. But yeah, Kubrick is very good at constructing visuals. Like, what was it? His last film was, if I'm remembering right, that one with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, Eyes Wide Shut. I'd like to watch that again. Actually, what are you doing, Mimsy? Oh my god, she's disturbed something, so stuff's moving, and she thinks something's in there. She's stalking it, and there's nothing in there. You just made some stuff fall down. Shelf warmer. What Apollo 13 conspiracy theories are we talking about? Oh yeah, proper with you. I'm with you. The cinematography in The Shining is absolutely amazing. Probably, I'm with you. I was not that into Eyes Wide Shut, but it made me think about it. I'd like to watch it again to see what I think about. Although I have to admit, I I cracked up because Eyes Wide Shut used the Chris Isaacs song "Baby Did a Bad Bad Thing," and I like Chris Isaac's music, but more I like Chris Isaac. He's a really good interview subject. Like he's done lots of interviews over the years, and he's a good interview subject. He's very funny, and uh, the story he tells is that his agent got contacted saying, "Hey, can we use this song 'Baby Did a Bad Bad Thing' in this Kubrick film?" And his agent said, "I don't know if Chris wants the song in a movie. I'll have to call him." And he says his agent calls him and says, "Oh, like Stanley Kubrick wants to use your song in a movie. Are you okay with that?" And he goes, "What? What? Why are you wasting Stanley Kubrick? Why are you even fucking asking me? Call him back before he changes his mind. What the fuck is wrong with you? Of course I want my song in a Stanley Kubrick movie. Fuck!" It was just like I just found that really funny. Hey Stella, I'm with you on Chris Isaac. Sexy man, sexy, sexy man. Even now, he must be 60 by now. Still think he's sexy. He had like a comedy series. I think only went for one season about 10 years ago. It was really funny. He's just a very funny thing. Locust Trooper, you have a crush on me. Well, you have good taste. What can I say? Uh, I mean, another reaction, we're talking about that really enthusiastic reaction. I'm a bit of a Walking Dead fan. I've been reading the comic for years and I watched the TV show, and they just had a really big storyline for the comic fans, Negan and the Saviors. And they cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, and he was very good. Interestingly, physically, really, really, really different to the Negan in the comics. The Negan in the comics is a huge muscular guy. It was actually modeled on Henry Rollins, like huge guy. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan's not a huge guy, but he's a very good actor and he was very good in it. The story goes the same way. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's agent called him and said, "Hey, we got a call from uh, the Walking Dead people. They said they want you to read a big bad. They haven't said exactly what it is, but it's media. It's a big bad guy. Do you want to read?" And Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going, is it Negan? Are they calling to get me to get Negan? Fuck, call them back. Call them back. If it's Negan, call them back. And it was Negan, and he got it. So I love it when people are enthusiastic. I just love enthusiastic people. Stella, that's a good line. Went to a Chris Isaac concert and he said, if you wake up tomorrow with sequins in your mouth, you know you had a good time. I love that. Proper Wolfie, yeah, Rollins was one of the early people to get into spoken word. I still have a CD somewhere of his first spoken word, Get in the Van, where he's talking about the Black Flag days. And I really like that. And look, like anyone, Henry Rollins is flawed, but I think he's a pretty interesting guy, and I think he says some pretty solid stuff. So yeah, you can say, oh, he did this thing. He got paid by Mercedes to do this. It's like, yeah, he got fucking paid, motherfucker. That's what it's all about. Yuri, did I see Donald Glover's This Is America? Yes. How that is a good piece of art. Speaking of good pieces of entertainment becoming art, the Childish Gambino song and video, This Is America, is an amazing piece of work. That's going to be a subject for study at universities in year to come, because the layers that are in that video are absolutely amazing. Locust Trip, where's the Donald Trump video? Look, I've been slightly slack with the pre-recorded videos. I'll definitely do one either tomorrow or Saturday. And you're right, Trump's done some more stuff. I mean, like that shit with Iran is ridiculous. Okay, Big Mac, the Iran deal, the single, and I'll be completely giving to the most positive spin you can put on the Trump pulling out of the Iran deal is their motivation is the Iranian regime is just bad, and any policy that doesn't have as its end point the removal of the existing Iranian regime is bad policy. The policy should be geared at getting rid of the Iranian regime. And there is validity to that. I am certainly, there's no way I would defend the current Iranian regime. But we get back to practicality and real life and the implications of those actions, and the fact that Scary Walrus dude, who's advising Trump at the moment, you're just, no, we should just bomb Iran, and they're like, he has backed out of a deal, lying and saying Iran broke the deal. They didn't. America is breaking the deal. Iran's not breaking the deal. America is. So what that is saying to the world, there is 0 point in making major diplomatic decisions with the United States because they will not honor those decisions. So why would you make any concessions to the United States? Why would you do any sort of deal with the United States when they are full of people who are just so venal, they won't honor those deals? So Trump's actions are basically all downside, apart from this magical thinking upside, like, oh, we do something really tough, the regime will get thrown. It's like, this just reeks of the Bush administration saying, oh, if we invade Iraq, they'll greet us as liberators. Like, yeah, okay, Saddam's an arsehole, okay? He was a dictator and he was awful. But when you invade a country, bomb a country, kill a bunch of people, fuck me, the people decide you're the enemy. The idea that you fuck over the country of Iran that and bomb them, and then they'll say, these people bombing us are clearly the good guys. It's fucking ridiculous. It makes the world far less safe, takes away any credibility the US had, and it's just like pandering to Israel and Saudi Arabia. It's fucking ridiculous. So it's just like the risks in doing something like that are huge, and and it's just tied up in this magical thinking. It's like, yeah, if we treat them like shit, fuck them over, and like literally bomb them, they'll think we're awesome and they'll do exactly what we want. It's like, Egypt, they're going, yeah, let's overthrow the dictator. Let's have democracy in Egypt. And then the majority vote is for a Muslim fundamentalist party. And they're like, no, not like that. Don't democratically elect someone we don't like. Like, talk fucking South America in the 70s and 80s. The number of democratically elected socialist and communist governments that the US worked to overthrow. The US doesn't give a shit about democracy. The US is about other people doing what they want them to. And it's just ridiculous. It's like, do democracy. No, wait, not like that. It's just like, it's like, and I'm a fan of dark humor, like, uh, American bombers filling the sky with the caption saying, "We've come to liberate the fuck out of you." Big Mac, like, it's lovely that you think there's positivity in what Trump does. And honestly, I'd prefer you are right to me being right. But Trump's a bad businessman. He's a failed businessman. He's a criminal. He only exists because he's bankrolled by criminals. He's just failed business after failed business after failed business. And he's kept going by being a criminal and by being bankrolled by criminals. He's not a negotiator. He's a stupid, unintelligent, incompetent person. And I said in a video recently, maybe Trump's insanity towards North Korea did push them to make a peace deal, because I feel like it's distinctly possible South Korea had a word with North Korea and said, if we don't work something out, this fucking psychopath, he doesn't care. Like, South Korea say to North Korea, we know you'd bomb the fuck out of us if something happened, okay? That psychopath doesn't care. We kind of care. So if we don't get something happening, he'll do something truly fucking insane. And so, but now peace talks happening. Look, and honestly, if it works, if there is a real settlement, if there is a real improvement, and Trump wants to claim it, then I'll fucking give it to him. I will fucking give it to him. If it's just that he was regarded as so fucking dangerous, they had to do something, man, I will fucking give it to him. I think it was like, because, some Republicans nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And someone said to the leader of South Korea, do you think the idea of Trump being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize because of the talks you're having with North Korea, do you think that's stupid? And he said, I don't care. I don't care if people want to give Trump an award. If the end result is we get peace, I don't care. The award is irrelevant. If the end result is we get peace, then that's a win, and I don't care what they give to Trump. I'm looking at people's things on Trump's. Probably, you think even if Trump was a good businessman, it wouldn't be grounds for him being a good president or statesman. Yeah, but he's not a good businessman. He is a bad businessman. He is a severely failed businessman. He only still exists because he's a fucking criminal, and he's propped up by criminals and foreign money. It's as simple as that. Trump would be richer now if he had never done a single business deal in his life, just taken his inheritance and invested it in a low yield bank account and sat in a fucking dark room playing with crayons and fiddling in his own shit. He would be richer from that than if he'd never done a business deal in his life, because he's a fucking terrible businessman. But yeah, but hey, if you want to argue that it's him being incredibly dangerous and unstable that pushed North and South Korea to a peace talk that results in something positive, fuck, let him have it. I've got no problem with that. Yes, Mimsy's come back. Everyone loves you, Mimsy. Come on, give you a scratch because everyone loves you. Yes, she likes us. Look how much she loves being scratched. She loves it. She loves it. Charlie Litton, Paris Hilton's a better businessman. Man, she built an empire just from a sex tape. That's pretty fucking good business. Oh, Cliff Jumper, in my personal opinion, there is no doubt that Trump has fucking criminal monetary transactions with Russian mob, Russian oligarchs. No doubt at all. But yeah, just the whole idea of Trump being a good businessman is so irrelevant. Shell Foreman, the thing about the North Korean nuclear research mountain collapsing is not good. But yeah, and this is an honest thing. Like I said on Twitter, I sort of preface it by saying this is probably an unpopular opinion among lefties, but Trump being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize is at least as valid as Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Seriously, Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize just for not being George Bush is a farce. That made the award completely meaningless, in my opinion. It's like he had done nothing. And in fact, over his presidency, he fucking expanded drone bombing, targeting civilians, made the world less safe. Yeah, Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize was a fucking farce. So Trump being nominated makes at least as much sense, which is to say none at all. But you know, fuck, whatever. Yeah, Spencer, it's just I look on Obama as a net positive, even if somewhat of a disappointment as a president. But the way they just gave him the Nobel Peace Prize just for being him was ridiculous. So Cliff Jumper, not in the mafia, Putin's rich by taking it. Man, I swear to God, who knows what the various investigations into Trump and his cronies are going to reveal. Nothing good. But I mean, the upper end of what could possibly be uncovered, the stuff there's been some indications, some evidence, is illegal deals in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Russians funneling hundreds of millions of dollars to Trump. And I'm not saying it definitely happened. I'm just saying there's indications that it might end up getting proved. Locust Trooper, so I'm not an Obama fan. Look, broadly, I am positively disposed towards Obama. But he expanded Bush's drone strike regime. He was very anti-whistleblower, very much increased the surveillance state. There were a lot of negatives about the Obama presidency. And I was really disappointed because I really preferred him over Clinton, because I just thought Clinton was a party hack and would be really boring. And I thought he at least was the possibility of something different. But I think his presidency is exactly the same as Clinton's would have been. I think he did just become a party hack. So kind of the hopes I had that he would be outside the party structure never came to be. So he was a bit of a disappointment. Oh yeah, proper film with you, Clinton's like Tony Blair, just like, okay, it's not the other guy, I guess, but and that's why I was more favorably disposed to Bernie Sanders than Hillary Clinton. Mind you, there were that whole group of Bernie Sanders supporters who were complete fuckheads. But yeah, I was more favorably disposed to Bernie Sanders. You know, ooh, maybe he's an outsider. Maybe he'll actually do some left-wing populist stuff. It would have been very interesting to see how that went in the US, but we never got to find out. Oh dear, too bad. But it was a bit annoying that he had that group of supporters who were complete fuckheads. Yeah. As my favorite website called panspermiasociety.com. The idea is to seed life throughout the universe. Biotic ethics also calls life-centered ethics, branch of ethics that is not only species and biospheres, but life itself. Oh, there you go. Literally sounds like we're shooting sperm into the universe, which is a bit perverse, quite honestly. Locust Review, Obama did nothing. He did more than nothing, but he was a bit of a disappointment to me. Like his efforts to improve healthcare in the US is good, and he generally was a force for good and sanity, which the Bush regime wasn't. And you know, Trump has just plunged us into some fucking hell. Trevor, is Trump's signature on executive orders legal when he signs in a giant sharpie? That is weird. Did other presidents do that? I don't remember other presidents doing that ridiculous pay attention to me thing, signing a thing and waving it about to cameras. Maybe I just missed it. Maybe they did do it and I missed it, but I don't remember it. Cliff Jumper. Well, see, that's the thing. If he had been nominated, and while being a social Bernie Sanders, if Bernie Sanders had been nominated while saying he was a socialist, I really did want to see how that would work in America. Um, but you know, we'll never know now. He's too old to do it now. Isn't it disturbing how Bush seems quaint compared to, and Bush, you know, started a massive war that killed over 1 million people and cost trillions of dollars on a fucking lie. And they knew they were lying. And his fucking VP, Cheney, was such a fucking criminal, siphoned billions of dollars for his business cronies out of the US economy. Like Trump's a fucking amateur compared to them, but he's such a shit show. It makes them seem good by comparison. I see, Yuri, that's a difficult thing. You say, yeah, if someone wants to argue for you saying if you don't like Clinton or Kamala Harris, you're anti-woman or anti-feminist, that's a bad argument to get into because a lot of the people who oppose them are very anti-feminist. Just like, you know, let it go. You know, but if someone, it's like it's a really annoying thing conservatives do. Like that creepy woman who's been nominated to head the CIA, and she's like a torturer. And when people saying like, no, fuck no, she shouldn't head the CIA. She's fucking terrible. You go, oh, I thought you were a feminist. You know, feminism doesn't mean supporting someone solely because they're a woman. If they're an evil fucking person, you don't fucking support them. And besides which, the conservatives saying that don't give a shit about feminism. I hate people who argue in bad faith. People who want to have huge arguments on things they don't even believe. And it's like, stop wasting my fucking time. Oh yeah, proper Wilfie. There is a thing of white feminism. The people, white women who very well intentioned, the ones who don't even know that they're being exclusionary to non-white women, and yeah, the TERFs, the trans exclusionary red femmes, SWERFs, sex worker excluding red femmes. Yeah, I think what's important, it's like saying about, it's kind of shitty if you just say, I don't agree with that female public figure. Someone says, you hate women, you're anti-feminist. But if you can't have a conversation, and it is unfortunate, like I tried to, there's an internet friend saying like all the stuff you say, and you annoyed me because you said everyone who didn't like The Last Jedi hates women. And I said, well, dude, that was partly a wind up, but it is always a good idea if you find yourself putting forward the same view as really fucking awful people. It's worth pausing and doing a little bit of self-reflection. Like, okay, is there anything in here that I wasn't actually aware of? Because it is kind of important to be able to look at yourself as well. But yeah, was that like you had sex with a transsexual sex worker? I bet that was an interesting experience. Life, yeah, we should all have interesting experience. Look, and maybe, some people, their whole lives, will be vanilla or whatever. It doesn't make them a bad person. But, it's, I honestly think I only have a problem with people who are super judgmental of other people, and that includes being judgmental of conservatism. In and of itself, I don't have a problem with conservative views. Like I have someone says they have conservative fiscal views or they have conservative social views. It's fine to the point where you're fucking up someone else's life, because people are different. People place different importance on different things. And thinking everyone should think the same as you about everything, it's fucking ridiculous, honestly. Respectful disagreement. Like I said, and people say, oh, you should still be friends with someone who's an active Trump supporter. I'd say, fuck that. Trump is aggressively racist, aggressively homophobic, aggressively transphobic, aggressively fucking up people's lives. And if you are an active Trump supporter, you are essentially telling a very large group of people, I don't give a shit what happens to you. I don't give a shit how fucked over you are. I don't give a shit how much your life's destroyed, because you just don't matter. It's like I had this dumbest shit thing. Like one of my friends said, conversation. This was like a Twitter conversation, but it was with people who I literally know in real life, people who I hang out with in real life. One guy saying, I wanted to sort of put forward some things, some ideas, and he was talking about basically MRA type ideas, men's rights activist type ideas, and he's saying, I want to sort of put forward some of these things I've been thinking about, but I think I'd lose friends if I did. And then this other guy goes, oh, that's bullshit, man. You stick by your friends no matter what. And I said, really? Stick by your friends no matter what. So if you found out a friend of yours was a child molester, you'd still stick by them, not accused, but an actual for real convicted, and they confessed to being a child molester, you'd still defend them. And he went, oh, no, don't be stupid. I'm not going to defend a child molester. And I went, no. You said no matter what. You said you stick by your friends no matter what. But now you're saying you won't stick next to a child molester. You won't stick next to a murderer. So when you say, I will stick to someone who says like alt-right racist shit, I will stick with someone who says misogynist shit, I will stick with someone who says homophobic shit, what you're saying to those people, to the people of different races, to women, to the queer community, you're saying, I don't care about you. Because you have already defined there is a limit. You have said, I'm not going to support a child molester. I'm not going to support a murderer, but I am going to support a racist. I am going to support a homophobe. So you are saying there are some people you just don't fucking care about. And that's why those people don't want to be friends with you. It's not because they're shallow. It's not because they can't see past politics. It's because you are directly fucking telling them that they don't count for shit. And that sort of stupid fucking hypocrisy really gets to me. Probably a prayer for Owen Meany. I know that. I don't think I've read it. Or maybe I have. Just I've read so many things you can't you don't remember everything you've read. Yeah. Oh, proper Wolfie. I mean, I had a fucking big fight with people, I don't know, a year or two ago, because this guy who I spend a lot of time with, who I hang out with, is friendly, was sharing this stuff from an anti-feminist hate site with the cute name of Age of Shitlaws, and it was lies. Everything on this site was vicious, spiteful, anti-women lies. And this guy said, "Oh look, I found this is the truth." Some woman had published pictures of a guy who harassed and threatened her and some other women on a train. They said, "Oh no, this site's telling the truth." But he wasn't, they were saying like he is autistic and they were mean to him. And like it was complete fucking lies. Like this went on to end up being followed up in the media. The media talked to the family of this guy, said, no, he's not on the spectrum. Yes, he's had several restraining orders. He's a bad fucking person. But this guy, someone I was friends with, is on Facebook saying, oh, you got to know the whole truth. And I went, dude, you are sharing stuff from an extreme right hate site. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is completely fucking unacceptable. Anyway, no, that's run by a friend of mine. I believe we go, your friend is a fucking cunt. Your friend is fucking garbage. That is filth. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? And people, and I honestly probably did go a little over the top, but I don't know. I got triggered. I get triggered by extreme right-wing lying fucking hate sites. I'm guilty. If you share the lies from extreme hate sites, I'm going to call you out and say, that's fucking bullshit. That's unacceptable. You can't do that. And some people thought I was too angry about it. Fuck it. Oh, yeah, Charlie, I'm with you. If I was at Australia Day barbecue and someone said they were a Hanson fan, I would also just get up, walk away, and talk to someone else. Don't let someone ruin your fucking day. Here's the thing, proper for you. You got a friend who's sharing Jordan Peterson stuff. Honestly, think Jordan Peterson fans are really shallow. Like his shtick has about this much depth, and it's all dressed up in pseudo intellectualism, and there's no depth to it. There's nothing underneath it. It's designed to appeal to people who really aren't all that fucking bright. Oh, yeah, proper Wolfie. Yeah, as soon as no, I know exactly what you mean. Someone posts a Breitbart article, and again, anyone who posts anything from Breitbart, fuck you. fuck you. That site is nothing but lies and hate. And if you post something from there, fuck you. I'm just going to say it. And just say it. There is no truth there. It's just fucking lies. And they go, oh, you know, educate me on both sides. I go, no. It's like at a certain point, it's like talking to a flat earther. I am not going to waste time with a flat. You get these people who literally are saying the earth is flat. It's like, dude, literally thousands of years ago, by observations of the night sky, people proved the earth was not flat and was not the center of the universe. Like, just with observation, people proved the earth was a globe and moved. And it's just like, oh, and why would I waste time engaging with someone who's saying, no, the earth's flat, prove that it's not? And it's like every satellite's a lie. Every bit of space exploration is a lie. And it's like, what the? No, there is no value in engaging. And at a certain point, like when people literally want to defend Nazis and they expect you to engage them as they defend Nazis. And it's like, no, actually, you are just wrong. There's a whole spectrum of things that you can argue are opinion and can be debated. And it's some people are just fucking wrong. Ugh. Yeah, you're right. Music Aviator, in Carl Sagan's Cosmos. It's the Greeks. The Greek philosophers worked out not just that the Earth was a globe, that we were not the center of the universe. They actually worked out from the stars the fucking diameter of the Earth. They worked out the Earth is clearly a globe and it's this big. And they were like really accurate in their fucking maths. It's crazy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you say anything to flat earthers, just get in a fucking boat, man. Just get in a boat and find the edge, okay? And but they're dumb as shit. But there are so many other people who deserve about as much as your time as flat earthers, with global warming deniers, fucking Nazi defenders. It's just certain people are just wrong. They are just fucking wrong. And they literally just want to waste your time. You have to engage. You have to. There's a thing I saw circulated recently that was purportedly circulated by Dick Cheney back in the Bush days, and it was how to derail conversations. It's how to derail conversations. It's basically just fucking say dumb shit and use up other people's times. And it's just like, no, I've actually worked out that all you want to do is waste my time. So I'm not going to waste any time on you. I've mentioned this before in other live chats. I was raised Catholic. My dad was in this Catholic secret society. It was like a Catholic version of the Masons. And the Australian wing was called the Knights of the Southern Cross. And they had this handbook for how to derail conversations on things like women's rights and abortion and whatnot. And it was all about get emotional, knock the conversation off track. Don't use logic, don't use facts, use emotion, and use up people's times just to hammer them with all this. And it's so fucking dishonest. Look, Shrooper, I haven't got the MacBook Pro yet. Look, the post office should send me an email when I get mail. But I will actually go into because I don't work in the city at the moment where the post office is. I will go into the city on the weekend just to check the mailbox and see if I have any. That's it. You don't know the Templars. The Knights of the Southern Cross was like an Australian subset of the Knights Templar. Yeah. Yeah, Jammer, it's filibustering us everything. It's basically this really dishonest approach to discourse where the goal is not to win an argument, the goal is to derail the argument. The goal is to stop any sort of sensible combination and fucking derail everything. Proper Wolf, you're saying there's an alt-right playbook by Innuendo Studios. Talk about, yeah, that's what they do. And this is why I have, and I've had so much exposure to like the times, because I've been on YouTube for over 10 years with my radical lefty stuff, and you get these people on the right, and their tactics become really obvious, and they want to derail the conversation, and they want to waste your time. And it's the one thing I would discuss things with these people with these ridiculous views if they would ever shut the fuck up. But they come out, they say something dumb as shit, and you prove that what they said was dumb as shit, and then they go, oh, but what about this? You go, okay, that's also dumb as shit. Here's the evidence to show that's dumb as shit. And they go, oh, but what about this? And you go, oh, fuck off. Because they will just never shut the fuck up. Yeah, Torian, I'll let you say they use straw man arguments. Yes, my first one. It's the Templars versus the libertarian assassins from Assassin's Creed. But but it's a for real thing that the Catholic Church had all these little cells of people who were propagating propaganda, and my dad was one of them. Okay, Trip, how did I get into the left side of politics? I think it was when I was at college, which is exactly what the right is worried about. University turns people into left wingers. But I got exposed to anarchist ideals, and I read a lot of stuff that had been written. I've never been a socialist or a communist, although a lot of my views could sit quite comfortably with socialists or communists. But I was more interested in a lot of this stuff, the writings that were done by anarchists. I read some of the classics, like from the late 19th, early 20th century, Peter Kropotkin and a few others. And then you read the history of how the anarchists repeatedly got fucked over by the communists. So I lost a lot of sympathy for communists for that sort of stuff. Like, Trip, was it anything to do with my upbringing? Not really. I think my dad was pretty conservative, but like I said, brought up Catholic. I know my mum voted Labor. Never really talked that much about politics in the house. But like my older brother's like Bricky's labourers, so they were real union guys. I still remember he had 7-inch singles. There was an Aussie. It was like a pop song from the 70s about being in the unions. You don't get me on part of the union till the day I die. And there was another one dedicated to Bob Hawke, the Bob Hawke drinking song, back when Bob Hawke was the leader of the union movement, the ACTU. So I did get a bit of exposure to some union stuff when I was growing up, but I didn't get any serious political exposure growing up at all. It was uni. It was going to uni, and I first got exposed, and I was particularly being exposed to anarchist ideas that woke me up a bit. Oh my God, I do. I also learned how fucking tiresome lefties can be when I was at uni. Like, there was, of course, in the 80s when I was at uni, we were all fucking paranoid about nuclear war. We were all pretty fucking sure we were going to die in a nuclear war, which thankfully didn't happen. But there was a nuclear disarmament group on campus, and I thought, okay, I'm for nuclear disarmament because I don't want to die. I think I'll go to one of their meetings. And I went to one of their meetings, and it was these fucking hippies, and their idea of activism was to turn and say, okay, I think we can agree, right, that nuclear weapons are bad, okay? And you think like, the fuck is wrong with you people? And so I learned fairly early on I didn't like establishment sort of socialists and communists. I found them really fucking boring. Mike, you're heading off. Look, I'm heading off in like 10 minutes, man. So thanks for dropping by. Charlie, your granddad was an old school environmentalist, founded the Queensland Bushwalkers Club. See, it's old school stuff. Like I remember, who's an old enough Aussie to remember In the Wild with Harry Butler? Man, I was watched that in the 70s and 80s on the ABC. And, you know, he was a naturalist and environmentalist and educating people. In the Wild with Harry Butler. He was like a fucking guru when I was a kid. The English had David Attenborough, but in Australia we had Harry Butler. Look him up, chat. There's probably stuff on YouTube. In the Wild with Harry Butler. Just this grizzled old Aussie bloke who's out in the bush showing you stuff. We regarded him as a guru when I was a kid. But yeah. Oh, Charlie, your dad took you to the JCU Koala Centre. Yeah, I mean, I also grew up I grew up in Dubbo in Western New South Wales, and they built an open range zoo when I was a kid, which is a great way to expose you to various animals and make you think that these things are worth preserving. Oh yeah, probably poor fucking Jeremy Corbyn, because Jeremy Corbyn's an old school lefty, and he's been treated as a joke for ages. But you know, there is a serious fucking chance he could be the next prime minister of England. Maybe not, but it was amazing to watch the old conservative establishment of the Labor Party try to get rid of him. And it took ages to hammer into their heads. The rank and file, the fucking voting public, support him. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why can you not see that the actual voters support him? Locust Trooper, what's the worst right-wing view in your opinion? Now, I'll preface this with saying I don't think this is an endemic part of conservative politics. I think a conservative viewpoint, economically and socially, is completely valid. They'll push things that I disagree with, but different people have different priorities. So I'm not saying conservative politics is bad, but the loud voices who are on the extreme right. Probably my biggest problem is still racism. I mean, it's a very fine cut between the racism, sexism, and homophobia. But the bigotry, the people on the extreme right who spew bigotry as if it's a virtue, I have no time for that. No time at all. And they lie and cloak it in free speech and talk about, oh no, I have the right to this opinion. You don't have the fucking right to destroy someone's life because of who they are. And they're shameless fucking hypocrites as well. And again, I'll just triply 100 times reinforce it. I don't think that is endemic to conservative politics, but very loud, obnoxious people on the right who trumpet their fucking bigotry like it's a virtue make me fucking sick. And again, I finished my drink. That probably means it's time to go. Coming up on 10 o'clock. I do have to go to work tomorrow, so yeah. Like, Striv, what's the worst left wing? That's a good one. Okay, because this requires serious self-reflection. The worst tendency I see in people who profess to be on the left is, I think it's like a totalitarian thing. It's a forcing their view on everyone. Because there are some things that, to my mind, are just different opinions. And there are some people who profess to be on the left, profess to be progressive, will ruthlessly try to crush people who have a different opinion of them. Now, I think this is actually severely the incidence of this is severely overstated by people on the right, but it does exist. There are people on the left, people who say they're progressive and whatnot, but they have a totalitarian tendency to say anyone who disagrees with me can be crushed, must be crushed. So, oh, Jesus, Jason, that thing about right-wing nuts and IQ tests, and, oh, they go beyond that. They go into eugenics. They go into race-based stuff. They ignore all the social limitations non-white people have had against them and just say, well, the reason non-white people have no power is they're just lazy. It's like, yeah, it's probably not the centuries of oppression. That's probably had nothing to do with it. Look, my first one, that's a fair point about left, right may be less helpful than democratic authoritarian. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. My thing is, well, are you a shithead? If I can't have conversation with someone, then I kind of write them off. I mean, like I've you know, obviously, because I'm freaking loony left, the main people who attack me are on the right. But I've had people on the left who think I should be excommunicated because I divert from what they regard as orthodoxy, and they refuse to concede that maybe I just have a different opinion to them. They go, no, it's not acceptable that I have a different opinion to them. I have to be exactly the same as them or I'm an awful person. And it's just like, well, you know, fuck you. And yes, proper Wolfie, IQ tests are bull. What IQ tests measure is how well you take IQ tests. IQ tests are culturally biased, objectively close to useless, but slavishly worshipped by some people. I like that, Charlie. Adam Hill's philosophy, don't be a dick. I think that was also Will Wheaton had a thing for Wheaton's law for behavior on the internet. Just don't be a dick. Have whatever view, so long as that doesn't involve being a dick. And I think that's a good point to leave it. Coming up on 10 o'clock, we're going to go to bed because I'm old. I need to sleep before going to work tomorrow. But yes, maybe that's the core philosophy of the angry cult. Don't be a dick. So thank you once more, everyone, for spending some time with me, because you're super awesome people, and it has, as always, been really enjoyable to spend time with you. You're right, Chapman. We had no trolls at all tonight. Normally we get at least once. This was really good. No trolls at all. So we had a good stream. We had a good time. You're all awesome people. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Hope to see you again soon. I'm going to have a pre-recorded video either tomorrow or Saturday. Have a look back at the week, big stories. So if you follow me on the socials, you can send me ideas for what to do in a video. Elsewise, I'll probably be doing more live streams next week, maybe on the weekend. Who knows? It's a crazy world. Anything could happen. Yeah, we need trolls every now and then, I think, to spice things up, mofo. So thank you all once more. Good night. I shall bid you farewell. Take care of yourselves and have a good time. Bye.